It's Valentine's Day, 1991. You're settling into your seat to watch Jonathan Demme's The Silence of the Lambs. But what you don't yet realize is that within just 13 months, it will become one of only 3 films ever to sweep the top 5 Academy Awards. Right now, all you know is what your friend told you. It's a terrifying story about cannibalistic serial killer named Hannibal Lecter and another madman who makes suits out of human skin. Fun, right? As you rush past the popcorn line, heart pounding, you brace yourself for every horrible cliche you have seen 100 times before. A woman running into woods, a frantic hand slamming on a car door at night, each familiar shot primes your mind for terror. And then, 2 minutes in, you see a woman scrambling over a fence. Your pulse races because it's a horror film after all. But here's the twist. That woman isn't fleeing a ghostly stalker. She is Clarice Starling, racing through an FBI obstacle course outside Quantico, hunting real killers. Jonathan Demme has called your bluff. He's dared you to unlearn everything you expect from a horror movie. Clarice is no final girl trope. She's not there to scream. She's not there to outthink monsters. That's your first clue that The Silence of the Lambs isn't just a horror film. It's a psychological pressure cooker, a character study disguised as a thriller, and a cat and mouse game so intense it became the first and only horror movie to win Best Picture. Let's talk about Jodie Foster's Clarice Starling. Foster's performance is a masterclass in naturalism. From the first time her shoes squeak on wet pavement to the moment her eyes flicker with unease, Clarice's fears and strengths feel utterly genuine. She isn't a one-note heroine or a damsel in distress. She is a real person shaped by past trauma and driven by fierce resolve. Imagine sitting in the theater, watching her navigate a male-dominated world. Every sideways glance from her superiors, every calculated step through those dim halls, making you hold your breath alongside her. Clarice's journey is filled with tension, but the most memorable part of that journey is her relationship with Hannibal Lecter.
Now then, tell me, what did Miggs say to you? Multiple Miggs in the next cell. He hissed at you. What did he say?
Now, let's turn to Anthony Hopkins' iconic portrayal of Lecter. Hopkins crafts a monster unlike any you have met before. His Hannibal isn't fueled by rage or revenge, but by clinical reptilian curiosity about human emotion. Hopkins blended the voices of Katharine Hepburn, Truman Capote, and Stanley Kubrick's HAL 9000.
Hello, Dave.
To create a delivery that's both gentle and menacing. He appears on screen for just 16 minutes, one of the shortest best Oscar performances ever. Yet his presence looms over the entire film.
No, I will listen now.
You can almost feel his gaze dissecting you from behind that thick glass. He doesn't need to raise his voice. He whispers, he pauses, he stares, and that's what makes him terrifying. Even when confined in a glass cell, he commands the room like a king without a throne. That eerie calmness, that sense of supreme control, it keeps you on edge.
Good evening, Clarice.
I thought you might like your drawings back, Doctor.
You know he's dangerous, but you don't know what he'll do next. And that's the point. Screenwriter Ted Tolley once said, "The more you explain him, the less he is." I don't want to know that somebody hurt his puppy when he was 8 years old. Hannibal's power comes from mystery. Those 16 minutes become an exercise in suspense. Every measured word, every subtle twitch is enough to send shivers down your spine long after he's gone. Now, let's talk about the film's direction. Jonathan Demme doesn't just tell the story, he puts you inside it. Much of The Silence of the Lambs unfolds through Clarice's eyes. Characters break the fourth wall, staring directly into the camera as if they're sizing her up, and by extension, sizing you up. It's an uncomfortable, intimate technique that mirrors Clarice's own vulnerability in a world dominated by power and predation. You feel like you're being watched, judged, and tested just like her. And then there's the visual storytelling. Cinematographer Tak Fujimoto uses tight close-ups and shallow focus to isolate characters within the frame. It creates a sense of psychological claustrophobia. When Lecter first appears, you have already heard stories of his brutality. Then you watch him stand calmly in his cell, wearing a form-fitting jumpsuit. His composed posture redefines the very nature of a horror villain. The true terror lies not in what is done, but in what he might do next. It all builds to that chilling climax with Buffalo Bill. Suddenly, the point of view shots shift. You become Clarice's prey, powerless under the gaze of a madman you can't even see. It's an expertly conceived narrative through line.
Closer. That expires in 1 week. You're not real FBI, are you?
Before 1992, no film this terrifying had ever won Best Picture, let alone clean swept Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Director, and Best Screenplay. Only 2 other films in history had accomplished this rare feat before. It happened one night in 1934 and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest in 1975. That puts The Silence of the Lambs in an elite trio and unexpected third act in Oscar history. This context shows just how rare and remarkable this achievement was. The Academy is not typically kind to horror. So what made this film different?
It looks like she's tried to claw her way through something.
The Silence of the Lambs forced the Academy to reconsider what it meant to be an Oscar contender. It proved that genre boundaries could and should be broken by filmmakers daring enough to follow their vision. Most genre films face an uphill battle for awards, pigeonholed by voters who ask, "What kind of movie is this?" Instead, Demme and his team asked, "What is this film in itself?" The result is a work of art that marries performance, theme, and world-class filmmaking into something unforgettable. More than 3 decades later, The Silence of the Lambs still haunts our collective memory, not because of what it shows, but because of what it implies. It's not just about monsters, it's about the people who face them. It's about fear, courage, silence, and the things we carry. And that's the heart of it. The horror doesn't come from gore or shock, it comes from psychological depth. The terror lives in subtle glances, the quiet conversations, the chilling civility. It's not just what Lecter does, it's who he is. So, next time you hear that eerie line, "I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti," remember, the horror wasn't in the act, it was in the stillness that followed, in the calm, calculated demeanor of a man who doesn't kill out of frenzy but out of interest. That's what makes The Silence of the Lambs so chilling. It was in the stillness that followed. Now, here's your filmy guide Darshan Jaju signing off. Great cinema isn't bound by genre, it's bound by the brilliant storytellers who dare to face the darkness. Until next time, stay happy and curious.